Hi everyone, it's James here with the first video of NAMM 2018 in Anaheim, California. I'm joining me old buddy, me old pal, Tom, or Thomas as it actually says on your badge. Dude,
that's my actual birth name. Only my mum calls me Thomas.
Tom Waterman from, me, from Universal Audio. We are here on the Universal Audio booth. Fab is doing his thing in the background, so it's probably pretty loud. But tell us what's new at NAMM 2018 for UA.
Okay, cool. So we've got three sort of big announcements really. So the first one is Arrow, which you've already checked out.
Yep.
So Arrow is our Thunderbolt 3 bus-powered desktop interface, which is the world's first desktop Thunderbolt 3 interface. And what that offers, of course, is access to the UAD workflow, the Apollo-style workflow on a bus-powered either Mac or PC, like a Windows 10 computer. So you get that ecosystem feel. It's designed really for, I think, instant recording, musicians, songwriters, beat makers, producers.
Running and gunning has become a...
Running and gunning.
Yeah.
It's that rip and run. That's
yeah.
a very, like,
ooh, I like that as well.
That's a very American phrase. You know, it's obviously the sort of thing you can have at home, and with one bus-powered cable, so Thunderbolt 3, you have a nice, neat desktop, or you can take it on the move and use it. And with Arrow, you get access to that console-like experience the same way you would with the Apollo system. So what that means is unison preamps, unison instrument inputs. So right out of the box, you get a great sounding, transparent and open mic pre or a DI. Yeah. But if you plug in a bass or a guitar, or in this case a vocal mic, you can get 1950s tube consoles and things like Marshall Plexi Classic guitar amps. So it comes bundled with 14 plugins, which I know you've checked out before.
Well, and then strictly speaking, we checked them out before, but
that's true. That's very true, yeah. So you played guitar through the Plexi Classic, I think. Yep. And then from there, you get access to the UAD library, so you can, with a UAD2 solo chip on board, you can expand your interface and get other sounds for your kind of flavor, your sound. So things like auto-tune for pop production, or the Neve 1073 preamp for a classic British sound, let's say. So that's Arrow. It's really the creative sort of immediacy that you need to write songs.
And unlike many companies who announce a product and then 7 years later it ships, it's out there, isn't it? It's
available. It was shipping on the 16th, so almost a week now. So it's there, and it's $499 US, 449 British pounds, and 499 euros. Yep. So there you go, Arrow is shipping. So that's cool. Announcement one.
Announcement number two.
Dos. So two is Ox, which I know you've also checked out. So Ox is our it's really a virtual guitar recording system is the best way to describe it. So you can see it behind us here. With Ox, you get a premium reactive load and an attenuator. So what that allows you to do is take your tube guitar amp, maybe a high wattage tube guitar amp. It will take up to 150 watts. So you could have a quad EL34s or 6L6 tubes cooking away, really melting hot, all that tone from your guitar amp, and then use the load box in Ox, which is known as our amp top box, because it sits on top of your amp and will then work at 4, 8 or 16 ohms to attenuate your guitar sound.
And it really works. We'll put links to the video down there somewhere, but it really, really works. Sounds great.
Absolutely, yeah. So we call it the amp top box because it's got tall feet on it as well.
They're to get over the handle.
Yeah, they're tall enough to go over the handle, which a lot of other sort of things out on the market, they wobble.
Yeah.
So when you use Ox like this, you can turn down your guitar amp all the way down to bedroom level, or completely off, and then there'll be no more signal leaving your actual physical guitar cab. But the reactive load portion of Ox will let your amp still perform and feel the way it should with all that touch responsiveness.
And I think people forget that so much of guitar is not necessarily the sound, it's the feel, the feel you get back through your fingers.
Exactly.
And I'm no uber guitar player, but just saying, oh, stick some headphones on, it's not just sound, it's feel, it's vibe.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing, we call it a recording environment, or it's really a recording system for guitar, because it takes the complexity out of it. Once you're into the digital side of Ox, which is really the reason we built this thing, is so you can take up to 17 different cabinet models, but none of them are impulse responses. They're all emulating the dynamic response of different loudspeaker drivers in different wooden enclosures, so closed back, open back, kind of halfway house cabs, that kind of thing. But you also get 6 different microphones, so you can place and blend 2 microphones on your guitar cab, and they're all mic'd up by James Santiago as like the greatest kind of guitar tones. So you don't need to know too much about mic placement to get a great guitar sound. So you get that studio grade sound really. So you can blend those 2 mics. You can blend in our world-class recording studio room around it, and then add processing on the output of Ox. So things like the 1176 compression, plate reverb and delay, and equalization. and actually carve a studio grade sound, which can be stored to the rig knob on the front. So you've got 6 presets. You can actually log into Aux with Wi-Fi via a Mac OS machine or an iPad, and then control and get access to hundreds of presets, or actually make your own, and then save them to the rig knob, and you can then just be app-free and enjoy playing.
Very cool. So. And the last announcement for the show is actually, you would think, not that significant, but with the way computer power and computer connectivity is going, it's a serious deal.
It is. So we have, you can see it here, this is our Thunderbolt 3 option card for the Apollo rack mount devices. So we like to think of Apollo as our universe, and it's expanding, like ever expanding. So with the Thunderbolt 3 option card, you effectively now can retrofit this into your Apollo racks, or into an Apollo 8P or a 16, for example, and daisy chain via Thunderbolt 3, so you get higher bandwidth, so you can run 2 4K displays at the end of this if you wish for video guys, or you could have still 4 Apollos stacked there. But really interestingly, if you have an Arrow, you can connect that to the Thunderbolt 3 port on that card, and that card will deliver 15 watts of power and then effectively power your Arrow at the end of the chain. So you would only have the Apollo rack connected to mains, for example. Not only that, it will actually trickle charge your computer. So if you have a laptop and you've got a charged battery, that will deliver enough power to trickle to the laptop to keep it running for your session. So it minimizes cabling on site. You can obviously expand via Thunderbolt 3 that way.
Awesome. Dude, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you. I should probably say, it's not shipping yet. We're hoping later in this year. Prices to be confirmed on the Thunderbolt 3 card. And on top of that, you obviously have things like the Townsend Sphere, Ocean Way My Collection, relationships with the Softube Console 1, with the Apollo Central, and new plugins. You tried it, the Distressor, Auto Tune. Yep. So we're, Apollo's still expanding, but then we have Arrow and Aux on side of it. So I'd say check it out at uaudio.com. Otherwise, thanks, man.
He's ticked all the boxes as always.
I had to.
Dude. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
My name's James Ivey here at NAMM 2018.
Thank you.